everyone, Charlotte here from New Zealand Shores. Has been a little while since I've bounced in with a live with Lottie, and today we have finally had another announcement about the border, probably the announcement that we've really been waiting for the last almost 2 years. So big excitement in our office today, and obviously a lot of really excited clients who have already picked up on this announcement already. First things first, the first step is that this whole border reopening is happening in 5 different stages. So the first stage will kick in from 11:59 p.m. on the 27th of February. So every stage kicks in basically at midnight on a certain day. So effectively everyone arriving from the day after is eligible for whatever's happening at that step. So step 1 particularly applies to basically eligible travellers or New Zealand citizens coming from Australia. So for a lot of people that won't really have much impact, so I won't really talk about that. But for anyone who does fit into that first sort of stage, it does mean basically those people can travel from Australia to New Zealand without having to go into MIQ. So MIQ is Managed Isolation and Quarantine. It is the hotel system we have had set up at our border for the last 2 years that has kind of really been what has stopped COVID coming into New Zealand, but it has also stopped a lot of our clients from being able to enter as well, just because the government obviously couldn't have a lot of people entering at one time. So yeah, that's stage 1. Stage 2 comes into effect from the 13th of March this year, 11:59 p.m. on the 13th of March, so effectively the 14th of March. And that is reopening New Zealand to New Zealanders, so New Zealand citizens and other eligible travellers. So eligible travellers counts as like critical healthcare workers, short-term and long-term other critical workers, and under those there's sort of a whole list of different border exception groups. So dairy farm managers, shearers, deep water fishing crews, rural contractors, veterinarians, teachers, a small cohort, a very small cohort of international students at that time, and then government approved events and programs. So that's kind of the border exception criteria that we've really had already in place for the last 18 months maybe now. It's been a little while. But anyone who does arrive either as a New Zealand citizen or someone who arrives on one of those eligible visas, so to be a critical purpose visitor visa that's been approved on one of those factors, no longer has to go into MIQ. We are moving to a self-isolation based model. At the moment, you would have to self-isolate for 10 days, but that is also likely to change. So the expectation is that we'll drop to 10 and then 5, and then eventually we'll be gone altogether. So between now and the 14th of March, no doubt that will change, and we will obviously communicate that change to anyone who that affects who is arriving. Under stage 2 as well, sorry, like I said, have to keep referring back to my list here. Under stage 2, we are also going to see that border exception for other critical workers expanded. So this is a key thing for hopefully quite a few of our clients. So it will be skilled workers earning at least 1.5 times the median wage, which for a 40-hour week, which is standard here, works out to $84,240 per year. Or if we break that down to an hourly rate, that's an hourly rate of $40.50 per hour. They have said key sectors that will benefit from the change are ICT, agriculture, education, and office professionals. So leaves it pretty broad, but that is really a good thing. And this is where I will change screens because Immigration New Zealand have given us a bit more information on that. Skip back, here we go. So the requirements for these workers to demonstrate unique experience and technical or specialist skills that are not really readily available in New Zealand will be removed. So that is a really good thing because that's actually been sort of a sticky point for a lot of people who we've tried to help under that border exception criteria as it stands. Workers entering under these settings will not be eligible for the 2021 resident visa. So yeah, you will unfortunately not get the ability to apply under that fast-tracked resident visa, but you will be able to apply under the skilled migrant category for residents if you're eligible, and that will kick back off from August. The other thing that is happening under stage 2 is that working holiday visa holders will be able to start resuming applying for those. So that's actually a really key thing for New Zealand, because those working holiday visa holders, they're the kind of people that come to New Zealand on a holiday, they're young, and then they like to work to support themselves. So those working holiday visas are eligible generally for people up to the age of 30. There are a couple of countries where you can be 35 and still apply for them. But, you know, those people go into roles like picking fruit, hospitality, and those are sort of those sort of really seasonal transitional roles which New Zealand has struggled to fill with New Zealanders over the last 2 years. So that will make a really, really big difference to a lot of employers in New Zealand, having those people able to enter. So if you are someone who you think may be able to apply for a working holiday visa, please do reach out. You need to be aged either between 18 and 30 and 18 and 35 for some countries, and it does give you a work visa. Well, it gives you, work visa with generally conditions attached to it. That could be you're only allowed to work for one employer for a certain amount of time, but it is a way to actually get to New Zealand. And then if you are eligible, you know, to secure a work visa as a skilled worker, it can be a way to sort of come, have a look around and find where you want to settle and find a skilled job. So please reach out if you think that's relevant to you. Step 3. So step 3 comes into effect from 11:59 p.m. on the 12th of April. So a couple months away yet. And that is, there's three different things under there which will apply to some of our clients. So one is existing visa holders will be able to travel to New Zealand if they still meet the conditions of those visas. So that may be people with work visas, for example, who got stuck offshore and weren't able to return. As long as your job offer is still valid, you'll be able to come in on your visa. You will be eligible to travel from the 12th of April, which means you can get on a plane on the 12th of April. You just need to arrive in New Zealand after 11:59 p.m. So basically on the 13th of April. If you no longer meet the conditions of that visa, for example, if you held a work visa and you no longer hold that employment, you can't travel on that visa, and don't try, because you will be caught up at the border. No doubt they will be asking questions. Under step 3 as well, big announcement for students. So the New Zealand government will be allowing up to 5,000 students who are eligible to enter New Zealand to study for semester 2. Details are to be determined by the Ministers of Education and Immigration. So we are still waiting for more criteria around that. But once we know, we'll probably do another live with Lottie or another webinar on that specifically. But that is really cool. So there will be a lot of our clients who potentially have been enrolled or had offers of place for universities in New Zealand will be able to enter. There will be more class exceptions for critical workers issued. So things like seasonal workers, critical workers who don't meet that 1.5 times the median wage, that 84,000 may be able to enter at that point. And then the existing border exceptions still remain eligible. And the government may also introduce additional border exceptions at that stage. So we'll just once again wait and see what happens in that space. Right, step 4. So this is really when it's going to make a huge difference to our clients. So the government haven't necessarily attached a specific date to this, but they're saying by July 2022. So it could come in July, or it could come in a lot sooner. Once again, we need to just wait and see. I believe they're due to confirm that in February. So few different things under that. So that's when Australian citizens and residents can travel to New Zealand without MIQ. So just bear in mind, everything I've been talking about here are people who can travel to New Zealand without MIQ, but some form of home-based isolation. So Australian citizens and permanent residents will be able to travel, plus other foreign nationals in Australia. So if you're in Australia on a work visa, for example, over there, and you want to come to New Zealand for a holiday, you'd be able to travel at that point. Visa waiver travellers, so people who are eligible to travel to New Zealand without first having applied for a visitor visa are also eligible to travel at that stage. And then skilled workers. So a lot of our skilled workers will be able to start entering again from July. They will be entering in under the new accredited employer work visa pathway, so that employers can apply for that from May. So everyone who wants to enter on that visa will need to do so, will need to have their employers accredited by June-ish probably. But if you are liaising with an employer who you know wants to hire you, then they'll need to start looking at that from May. So yeah, that will be when we see the bulk of our clients who are searching for jobs starting to enter. So it is still a little while away, but hopefully we are seeing a few more people come in from stage 2, which is March. Still going to get my head around this. Yeah, March, 13th of March. And then stage 5 is basically when visa processing will resume to what it always has been pre-COVID. So that will hopefully mean that there's no longer any critical purpose visitor visas, no border exceptions, that kind of stuff. Visitors and business travellers will be able to resume travelling to New Zealand from that date. And that does exclude any categories that were paused prior to COVID-19 for normal visa processing. So yeah, that is the end of my little list for everything that applies to hopefully our clients. So really exciting news. As always, please reach out if you have any questions. Like I said, please just be patient with us because this is obviously a huge announcement that we've been waiting quite a while for. Our clients have been waiting quite a while for, so we have already been slammed this afternoon. So yeah, please reach out if you haven't yet had an eligibility assessment and you're interested to know what your chances of migration are to New Zealand. Please either complete that on our website, which is www.newzealandshores.com, or you can email us info@newzealandshores.com, or give us a call on 0064 7929 2280. So there are quite a few ways to get in touch with us, or if you already have a licensed advisor, please do just reach out to your licensed advisor first. So yeah, good news. We are so excited to start getting more of you into New Zealand as well. So please reach out, whether you are a skilled worker or a student or an employer and you're wanting to have people arrive into the country, please reach out. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to help. And we are so excited to have more of our clients arrive in the next few months. Thanks everyone. Have a great day. Bye.